Hey everybody, and welcome back to another iiRcade Game Days. I'm your host, Michael, executive producer here at iiRcade. Let me cancel my echo. It's great. There we go. Perfect for me. All right. I'm totally ready and totally prepared for this. Let's do this. All right. So, of course, today is the first day of the game sales. I know I've already seen it on social media and everything like that too. Yes, they're not up yet. So the game sale is set to kick off today at 4 p.m. So 4 p.m. CST, so 5 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, the rest of you in, the mountain region as well as California, a couple hours after, right? But it is going to kick off here in an hour for everybody. So, yep, that's what it's scheduled for. Didn't release that time, so there you go. It is coming, though. Yes, it's today. I promise you that. So the one thing that we haven't talked about, of course, we'll get right into it, is the genres, right? So when we announced the 5 weeks of holiday game sales this year, we said that instead of doing like we did last year with developers or publishers, we're actually doing a different genre each particular week, right? So this week's genre I'm excited to talk about is going to be, let me see if, wow, I can ever get infographics and things like that, right? It's great. It's like I can stream, right? All right, but today's genre for the first week of sales starting at 4 p.m. is going to be action. That's right. All the action games in the action genre on the store will be on sale starting today all the way through next Friday. Well, next Thursday at 11:59 p.m., right? So get them before midnight on Friday, I guess. Thursday, Friday, whatever. Yeah, they switch over on Fridays. All right, there. We'll keep it easy and simple for everybody. But yes, this first week, action games will be on sale. Action games. All right. They're going to be on sale all week long until Friday. Until Thursday night. Really get them before Thursday night. They're actually all going to be 30% off on the dot for this round, right? So we said up to 30% off for every game. Most games are going to be about 30. This week, every single action game will be 30% off. So starting at, again, in an hour, 4 p.m. my time. So an hour from now, right? So maybe during the show, we'll see if the show lasts that long or not. We'll find out, right? So there you go. So again, once again, let me put it one more time here. Action games. Yes, action games is the first category and genre that's going to be on sale for the holiday game sales. All right. And with that, that's right, 30% off. Let's go. Yeah, every single game in that action category will be 30% off. So sweet. Awesome. Is Dead Cells an action game? Dead Cells is actually a platformer game. So there you go. It's listed in platformer. Yeah, platformers and action kind of go a little bit hand in hand too. There's some games like, say, like Ganryu, which is kind of a platformer as well too, but it's more action. It's hard to decide sometimes on the genre. But yes, no, Dead Cells is in the platformer category. So no, it is not part of the action category. It's part of the platformer category. So, which is another category that will potentially be on sale, right? So there you go. All right. So any questions about that for the timing of those two? We did show this last week too. Let me see if I can pull this up. Oh, somewhere on here. I swear I have another graphic. Nope, it's gone. I don't know where I put it. It's okay. I had a nice graphic for the weeks and things like that. Anyway, there we go. So yes, so 1 week of sales for the action games, and then week 2 we'll announce next Friday, right? So you'll have to wait and see what the next genre is. Until then, going to be spending money this week for sure. Yeah, I know a lot of you last year spent a ton of money on the game sales. I thank you for that. You know what? I still got student loans to pay off. So there you go. All right. With that, though, let's get started with our first topic, right? Which is going to be action games, right? So let's kick things off with action games first and foremost. I'm going to do a little breakdown because people ask me this all the time too, right? Michael, what are your favorite games in the store? This, and that, right? So what do I like to play too? So these are going to be my personal top 10 action games for you before the sales even start, right? So take it with a grain of salt. These are my personal preferences. You might have totally different ones than me. So don't hate me for it. But I have played all these games to ad nauseum. So I can tell you that I appreciate a good game. I appreciate differences in games, and I appreciate differences in gameplay and unique gameplay mechanics. But I am an RPG nerd as well, too. So you'll see. You'll see here, too. Without further ado, I'm going to go through this a little bit faster, right? So my 10th game in the action category, and my rank number 10 out of, I believe, 56, something like that. There's a lot. I should have counted. There's a lot of action games out. Anyway, my top 10, my 10th in that series is going to be The Cliffhanger. So The Cliffhanger, Edward Randy, if you've never seen it, I'm going to go through this a little faster. It's basically like if Indiana Jones mixed with like just an action hero who didn't care about murdering people, I guess is a good way to put it. Edward Randy the Cliffhanger is a 2-player action game too. It is actually online as well, but it's a fun, just kind of beat 'em up style game, right? You get your whip, you get your everything, right? And it's a lot of whipping, a lot of yelling. It's great. Number 2 on my list, it's going to be Fixate. So Fixate is actually the sequel to Outzone, right? But I do prefer Fixate more. Bigger aliens, better bosses. That's why I like it a lot too. Fixate's great if you like a high score challenge for the leaderboards, especially. People run this all the time too. I believe Fixate's also online. Don't quote me on that. I got to double check, but I'm pretty sure it is. But Fixate's a great leaderboard score chasing game too. If you've never tried it, totally a game to pick up during the sales, especially starting very soon for the action games. See, I'm missing my chat because I keep got to switch back and forth. I wish that I could do multiple monitors right here too, but I can't. All right, cool. Carry on. We'll do questions at the end of it. How about that? If you got questions about these games, save them for the end. All right. My number 7 for action games. Well, 8, I guess, right? 8. There we go. 8. It's going to be Shadow Dancer. So Secret of Shinobi. So this is actually Shinobi 2. If you didn't know that, this is the sequel to Shinobi. So Shadow Dancer, Secrets of Shinobi is my 8th ranked game in my top 10, right? So I like this game a lot. However, it did haunt me for a very long time while testing in the very early days of the company, right? About 2 years ago when I first got here, a little over that now, right? This was one of the first games that I had tested, one of our Sega games, and it took me so long to beat it, and all I heard was the dog barking in my dreams and throughout the day and all night long. It was great. But I still don't hate this game. Weirdly enough, it is one of my favorite games on the system for action games. So it's a good challenge if you like, and especially if you like just ninja games, it's great. With that, my number 7 is going to be Kung Fu Master. Of course, a classic. We're going to go with more, I guess it's not ninjas, huh? But martial arts, there you go. So Kung Fu Master, it's a classic. I played it actually on NES growing up as a kid instead of the arcades, but I love it on the system as well, too. It is the arcade version of the game, too. There's not a lot of differences, honestly, between the arcade version versus the console version. However, on the arcade, it is a better game in my opinion, just because you can do the joystick wiggle. So something that's very hard to do with a D-pad, a directional pad on a controller, was the wiggle, right? Back and forth, back and forth. Hard to do with a directional pad. However, it is easy to do with joystick, and it's part of the game. It's a very important part of the game if you get caught up ever. So coming in at number 6, Night Slashers, right? Just in time for Halloween, my spooky themes. Going to continue on. Night Slashers is one of my favorite beat-em-ups on the system for action games. Night Slashers, if you never played it, you get to pick between 3 different characters. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember their names right now too. It's great. 2 big buff dudes and 1 woman who just beats you up with magic and things all the time. It's great. Wow, I'm going to remember their names too. Alexander? Is that right? It's been a bit. I got to pick this game up again. Anyway, zombies, werewolves, vampires, Frankenstein monsters, Frankenstein himself too, are characters within the game, boss fights, things like that you're going to encounter. It's a great pickup for Halloween, just in time too. If you've never tried Night Slashers, I highly suggest it. It's a great beat 'em up and action game on the system right now. Coming in at number 5, of course, Mayhem Brawler. I've got to have Mayhem Brawler on my list because it's just a fantastic beat 'em up with tons and tons of content. Mayhem Brawler, not much more to say, right? Crazy kooky characters, 2-3 different characters to choose from. Cooperative play, tons and tons of different things. There's different story endings that you can get as well too. It's a very comic book style game, right? 90s comic book based action game, beat 'em up, different weapons to pick up, different power-ups, different things, different everything, right? Plus the art style is fantastic, right? The art in this game is just banging. The music's great too. The different characters and the boss fights that you have, the storyline, it's fun. It's just good old-fashioned fun. I like it a lot. Coming in at number 4 on my list, right? So getting through my top 10 quick. Shadow Force. Shadow Force is, again, another great just beat 'em up. Technos Japan game originally. Not a lot to say besides it's a really good beat 'em up, honestly, too. Tons of different powers, too. What you can do is kind of possess people in this game, too, and take their powers, so you can use that. That's kind of the quirk of this game. That's why I like it a lot, is the possession powers that you can do, and then you can play as sort of those types of enemies and stuff. That's a big part of this game, as well as at the end of every single level, I'll spoil it for you, you do get to fight your teammates. So if you are playing cooperative, you do actually turn into a fighting game at the end of every single level, and you get to beat each other up too, right? So it's like Double Dragon, except it's better because it puts you head-to-head on purpose, right? So it's great. I love it for that fact. Right? So Shadow Force is coming in at my number 4, right? So there you go. Questions on those games. I know we said take questions at the end, but we'll keep it coming. All right, I'll keep it rolling for now. All right, coming in hot at number 3. Of course, I'm a huge fantasy nerd. Rastan. Rastan's going to take my number 3, or Rastan, if you want to say Rastan instead of Rastan. I have a little bit of an accent. I'm sorry. So Rastan is actually, we of course have all 3 games. I didn't put Warrior Blade. I'm actually going with the original Rastan. Number 1 is actually one of my favorites. It does have leaderboards, however, score doesn't reset in this game, so it's kind of more of an endurance trial than anything else if you're going for the scores. But yeah, Rastan, great tropes. Let's talk about Rastan. We can actually show it off a little bit here. My top 3, I did bring gameplay for my top 3, of course. They want to bog on the system. It's been available for a long time now. The entire series, Rastan 1, 2, and 3. So Rastan 2, which is going to be, oh my gosh, Nastar Warrior, as well as Rastan 3, which is Warrior Blade, Rastan Saga Episode 3. Mouthful of the game, too. Very different style game, too, but I love it a lot, too. 1's good. 2 is 2. 3 is fantastic as well, too. And 3 is a Japan-only release. That is a dual monitor game, too. But Rastan 1 here that you can see right here, actually on my left. Tons of monsters, tons of different boss battles and things like that, too. This is a tough-as-nails game. So if you like a good challenge, especially if you're trying to run 1 quarter against yourself, Rastan's the game for you, right? Plus, the music is bang. I love the music a lot in this game, too. Just the soundtrack gets me every single time. All right, different weapons, of course. There you go. The big old axe there, too. You get the fiery sword. You can launch fireballs and stuff, too, later on. It's great. All right, coming in at number 2 on my top 10 list for action games, coming on sale soon, is going to be the Astian Axe. Of course, big dudes with weapons maybe is my thing for arcades. I don't know. I've never really thought about that before, huh? But Astian Axe, yes. Astian Axe is great. Astian Axe is sort of a Golden Axe kind of game, if you ever played Golden Axe. Very similar to that would be the Astian Axe. It's, again, a big adventure troped game. Let me pull this up here. Bam, there we go. So you can see it above me there, too. Tons of different enemies, of course. The man with the rock himself. Fantastic. Big old dude with an axe swinging it. This is a co-op game as well, too. And, of course, little mantid creatures. I should say big mantid creatures, right? Tons of different quirky enemies in this game, too. Boss battles, all that stuff for you, coming at you. Good sound effects, good soundtracks, things like that, too. Again, a very classic style arcade, beat 'em up, hack and slash, whatever you'd like to call it, right? So, yes, number 2 is going to be the Astian Axe. And this is the arcade version, mind you. There's a very big difference between the arcade version of the Astian Axe versus the console version of the Astian Axe. So if you played it on console growing up, it is a different game, technically speaking. Yeah. Similarities, but differences, right? My number 1. A lot of people are never going to guess my number 1, probably. Or they will, because they know me pretty well. However, my number 1 is going to be Darkseal 2 specifically, right? Darkseal 1 is great. I do like Darkseal 2 better. It is one of the times when I do actually like, unlike Rastan, I didn't flip-flop this time. I do like the sequel and Darkseal better. So Darkseal and Darkseal 2, we have both available. However, let's see. Let me put this up here too. You might know them as different names as well too. So Wizard Fire would be Darkseal 2. And Darkseal 1 is also known in the US as Gate of Doom would be the name of it, right? So this is Darkseal 2. Wizard Fire would be it. So you get 5 characters in this version of the game too, instead of 4. And of course, they all announce themselves whenever you pick them. It's great. So if you pick the Bard, it's just, I am the Bard. It's great. It's good times. They have a ton of different special moves. You build up your magic meter by dealing damage to enemies and unleash like crazy good attacks. Everybody's different play styles, different weapon styles. You can see them going there. 2-player co-op game, of course. What can I say besides a high fantasy troped top-down 3/4 view game? It's great. It's isometric view, right? It's really what it is. But yeah, if you've never played this game before too, it will be on sale coming very soon at you. This would be Darkseal 2. So that's my top 10. My top 10 action games available currently on the iiRcade store. Right? And those will all be on sale coming up shortly here. All right, let's see. What do I got in the chat here? Let me see here. All right, let me scroll up here. Questions, comments, concerns on my top 10. Again, this is my personal top 10 for action games currently available on the system. All right. Wow, okay. I missed a lot in this chat too. Let me scroll up here. Da-da-da-da. Okay, Kung Fu. Yeah, fade back on there. Yes. Okay, scroll through. Questions. If you got questions, put them in the chat now. Now is definitely the time. All right. Okay, cool. No questions. Great. That's it. I didn't really expect questions anyway, right? So, but if you do have questions on the games, please feel free to ask. I've played them all so much, so just let me know. We test these games to nauseam, so my QA team plays them even more than me, but I do personally play them myself as well, too. And I play them at home sometimes. You'll see me on the leaderboards, right? All right. That's it. So, moving on then to the next topic, right? I won't keep you for too long today, too. So, that's my top 10 for action games, and action games will be on sale one more time starting today at 4 o'clock p.m. my time. So 45 minutes from now, right? On the store, action games will all be 30% off on the store. And then, of course, that goes until next Friday. So get them by Thursday night, all right? Get them by Thursday night. And if you don't get them by Thursday night on sale, and you ask me on Friday if you can get a discount for the game, the answer is no. That's all I'm going to say. So what's on sale right now? Nothing is on sale yet until about 45 minutes. We just announced the action games. I will spam this banner so many times today. Action games will be on sale. This is our first week coming up shortly. All right. Moving on to the next topic, however. Of course, we don't just have new game sales today, too. We do actually have a new game today, which is actually a brand new game on us as well as Nintendo Switch. Both on the same day today, too, which is great. So let's talk about that right now, too. Without further ado, I'm going to let it introduce itself with its own game trailer, right? So this will be coming at you on the store very shortly. All right, there you go. So without further ado, Once Upon a Time on Halloween is available right now on the iiRcade store for $7.99, I believe. Yes, it is. Great. Yeah, not Cuphead, not Tapper. It's a little bit of everything, right? So this game is brought to you by In-City Games once again, which is great. Coming at you with a lot of games this year. I like it a lot. So shout out to In-City Games over there, working real hard to bring you these games all the time, right? So Once Upon a Time on Halloween, let me show you right here. Let me pull it on up here. Let me know if that's too loud and I can turn it down. So you got different variants of gameplay, right? There's about 5 different variants of gameplay in this game. There's sort of a Tapper-esque mode. There is a both vertical and horizontal shmup. So shoot 'em up modes, there's boss battles, there's platforming mechanics, and a couple other things going on, right? We'll beat 'em up, little sidecar chases, everything like that too. This game has about 10 different levels in it too. It does have global leaderboards as well too, and it gets very hard later in the game. So have fun with it. Enjoy it just in time for Halloween. Spooky themed games, let's get it. So play as the pumpkins and take on all the ghouls and ghosts and goblins and everything else too, right? So there you go, gameplay above me. Let me see. Questions about the game. Let me see here. Okay, we're just gonna do this here. Yes, this does have global leaderboards, yes. Is this an action game? This is not an action game, no. This is unfortunately not an action game on the store right now. Second here. Cool. Yes, leaderboards. Yes, lots of gameplay. Yes, a lot of everything. Just a fun game for Halloween just in time too, in fairness. All right, if I have no questions in the game, keep moving on. No questions on Once Upon a Time on Halloween. Really? I'm very confused. Nobody ever has questions right now. Who just wants to play it? When does it go live for purchase? It's live right now on the store. Everybody double check on me right now, right? It is live on the store currently. or soon to be very currently. Yes. Here, we can take care of this right now. You know, it's very hard when I have to do a lot of things all at once while I'm doing live streams, but I can take care of this. This is an easy thing for me to do. All right. One more time. Let's give this one more try here. All right, now it's available officially. There we go. It is live. All right. Who is the developer? The developer is In-City Games. So they brought to you other games on the system. Most recently, they've done Longhead as well as Sub-Octo, plus other games, right? Casino Golf. Oh my gosh, there's a lot here. Jetpin Arcade, which is like my personal favorite too. That's like a spinball game. Yeah. But I mean, you can search on the store too. Search In-City Games. You can see the rest of the games that come up for In-City as well too. I think they've got about 7 or 8 games on the store for the iiRcade currently, which is great. All right. Not on the store. It's on the store now. Just saying. I did double check. It is on the store live now. So there you go. Let's see here. So how many, let me take this one. So how many boats, how many boards, I assume, are there, and can you choose the gameplay level? No, so you do play through the story essentially too, and it is like a 1/4 run, if you will, right? You get 3 lives, and that's it. Once you die, you die. So very classic kind of hardcore kind of game too. You can make it. You can make it. There are steps though between, I should say, like stopping points between each level when it does sort of calculate your score, which is great. So you do play it off in stages. So there are about 10 different stages with 5 different boss fights. Could be 11 stages, technically speaking. Kind of depends on how you count them. But yes, 5 different boss fights as well as 11 stages. And then there's, I believe, 5 different types of gameplay, like arcade-style gameplays, right? You don't do all the gameplay styles at once. You kind of switch off between the levels, right? And yes, those of you asking, you can use both joysticks in this game for the certain modes, right? So the levels that make sense for it, you can do movement as well as, right, pouring. All right, what else we got here? Wow, they're pumping out these games fast. Yeah, they are. All right. Yeah, beautiful art style in this game too. It's great. They've been working on this one for quite a bit, I'm sure. Does this game work with light guns? No, there's only one option for light guns so far, one singular game that we've announced, Operation Wolf, and is not available yet. All right, that's it. No more questions on it? All right, play away. I mean, easy game. Not easy game. It's a hard game, honestly, but easy day for me, right? So yes, go ahead and pick it up. Available in the store now too. Again, the sale's starting at 4 p.m. There's not a lot more. Any Q&A that I can do. That's it. We'll open it up for Q&A actually too. We can talk about the game sales as well as the Tag Corporation games that we've announced already too. Other games on the system. Let's go. Go ahead and put a bunch of question marks, asterisks, something in there so I can actually see your questions and pick them out of the chat. I'm watching 3 or 4 different feeds now officially. But yeah. There's no light gun news for old owners. I mean, we've talked on this a lot too. There's going to be no updates for light guns for standard edition owners unless a light gun becomes available or we have other information for you. Yeah. Keep in mind for light guns too, there's only one game announced for light guns. There's hundreds of games on the store already too, about 400 already. This is one title. So just in case we're not leaving you in the dust, we're trying our hardest. However, new is new. Time moves forward. It marches on, right? That's how it goes sometimes. If a Bluetooth light gun becomes available, however, that's what we're looking for right now, right? Or alternative methods that we're still playing with currently. But yes, there's no announcement on standard edition units being able to use light guns. We've only announced light guns for the gold editions themselves. And currently, only Sinden drivers built into our system that we're working on. However, there's options for others potentially later on down the road. Let me see here. Well, we see bundle pricing for games. I get asked this a lot. Nothing currently to report on this. However, of course, these are things that we think about all the time. Keep in mind, things like that too have to be built into our software, right? There's a lot of things going on the back end that you guys don't see on the software end that we see every day, that we test every day, that we have to work on continuously, that we design continuously too, and other projects outside of what you see here that we work on, right? So keep that in mind. Yeah, we're a small company, small team, but we are working very quickly. We work very rapidly. But yeah, things like that do take software, and we have to devote resources to that kind of stuff too. It doesn't just happen overnight. On top of, of course, talking to the actual publishers, developers to get their games into a bundle if that ever does happen. What else do I see here? How can you make game recommendations? Oh, there is an email for it actually too, and I forget what the email is. People post them a lot in the Facebook community groups, which is totally fine too. Feel free, or you can feel free to contact those developers, let them know that we exist as well too. Say, you should bring your game to iiRcade. People do that all the time. But currently, I do. It's rare that a game is posted that I haven't either talked to already, is in the works, or is, just something I haven't seen before. Pretty rare. Not every game does work in arcade style too. Just saying. Why are there missing Gamedaze episodes in the playlist? I will get to that because I'm a very busy guy and I have to do that myself. And I've just neglected it for a couple weeks now, a little bit more than a couple months now. I'll do it. I'll get to that. I'll put them in the list. Ooh, question, new merch drops. Nothing right now. But I've been thinking about that, yes. Thinking about fall, thinking about winter merch drops kind of stuff. Yeah, potentially. We did do our summer, and our summer apparel is gone. It's off the store. Summer apparel is gone off the store. Let's see here. Any plans on a steering wheel add-on? I can't talk about anything that's in the works like that too. We have not announced anything for a steering wheel, no. However, we are in an open accessories program, so potentially you could see that kind of stuff down the road. When is Bluetooth coming for Gen 1? Bluetooth exists on Gen 1 already. The hardware is already built in the board. You can attach your headset right now and use Bluetooth. That's been a feature since day one. As far as peripherals, there's been no announcement on the time of that too. Coming soon. I can tell you that we are working very hard to get them to you as quickly as possible. There's a lot of projects going on. A lot of things happening right now too. Keep in mind too, we are still working on things like online play and getting that integrated even better in the system. UI updates, store updates, other things that we do outside of this. Essentially, there's a lot going on too. So priorities happen. But yes, we are working on the peripherals extremely fast. And Glenn as well over at GRS is working extremely hard to get this to you as quickly as possible. We are trying to roll those out too. We have games in the waiting for them and everything like that. So I'm just waiting on that. Let me see here. Okay, here I think I just mentioned the UI a little bit too. Purchase within cab and or new UI coming soon. Yes, new UI is coming. Purchase within the cab. You mean like the game store on the cab? Yeah, it's something that we want, and that will likely should come probably in the first wave of the UI update. That will be there at some point. Yes, 100%. That is something that yes is on our radar that we are presently working on as well. What else I got here that I can answer? Cannot answer questions about games I don't have. Or games that are in the works. Can't talk about those, as always. What group of games are going on sale? You don't have to rewind and watch. We've already talked about that a bunch of times already today. And I'll probably talk about it again. A gold plate is the most played cab. It's great to see. Glad you're enjoying it, Keith. Okay, any other questions? We can keep it a short day. I'm easy with that. Nagoya Infinity Attack, or Nagoya Attack on Infinity Gene. You're going to have to be more specific on that if you're asking how to do it. Ooh, it's been a bit since I've touched Infinity Gene. In case you didn't know, Nagoya Attack refers to, in the original Space Invaders, as the attack of the last row of invaders, essentially, too, is the Nagoya attacks. Okay, what else here? Okay, if you're asking about game sales, rewind the video. We've already talked about that, and I'm not going to talk about it right now. So Any news? Let me see here. Yes, so some of these games are getting updated. So for Leaderboard 2.0, right? So the leaderboards are currently sort of down a little bit actively. Just sort of a hiccup that happened when we switched to Leaderboard 2.0. We are working on those that are sort of in the mix. Yes, I'm aware. Rangox guys, Band Brawlers, yes, and a couple others. Yep. There is no official iiRcade stool as of now. I'm sitting on one. It's not official, but the company made it. It has branded logo. It's supported by us. So I guess technically I have an official stool that's underneath me right now, but nothing that's being sold currently, no. Again, I mean, something like a stool is, it's sort of on the back burner at the moment in my mind, right? I got plenty of other things I got to work on, like the things that we just talked about. See here. Any word on possible gift cards on the store? Yep, nothing to announce on that stuff too. Weirdly enough, there are a lot of laws and regulations per state on that kind of stuff, in case you didn't know. So it does kind of back us up a little bit on that kind of thing too. It's not as easy as just flipping the switch and saying, hey, here's a card with X amount of money on it, put some money on it, things like that. It's not that easy, unfortunately too. You'd think it would be in this present day. It's just not. So yeah, nothing on that too. I would love to get gift cards and things for you. So why wouldn't I, right? Just nothing currently to announce on that. If you want to report issues, yes, you can report to contact@iiRcade.com. It's right there on the website. We'll get you there as well too. There's a contact form. But yeah, if you're trying to do the live chat on the website, we are a small team. The live chat is only live when I have people present in the office. So Monday through Friday, kind of 9 to 5-ish is what you're really looking at there too. So the live chat, if everybody's offline, however, it does send you to the email anyway. So contact@iiRcade.com. If you do ever have any issues, yep, we're here to fix them. Are we getting a screensaver for Christmas fireplace? You mean like my Yule log from last year? Maybe. Give me a couple months here. Hasn't hit November yet. I'm not bringing out the Christmas stuff until at least after Halloween. All right. I have rules and regulations that I keep to. See here. Other questions that I can answer. Black Friday specials in iiRcade cabinets. I don't know. You'll have to stick around and find out, right? I'm not going to reveal that kind of stuff ahead of time. It's a surprise. We are, of course, still on BestBuy.com as well, too. Cabinets available on iiRcade.com as well as BestBuy.com. Yep. Can I release it? Okay. Can I release an iiRcade shirt that my wife will let me wear on date night? Yeah, you know what? Progressively, I feel like the apparel is getting better and better, right? Thank you. You're welcome. But yeah, because I'm a big fan also of not just like black t-shirts and stuff all the time, right? That you get at like cons and stuff, but stuff that you'll actually wear in day-to-day life. Yeah, always my goal to sort of design shirts that way as well too. Whenever I do get to hacking and slashing into shirt designs, we'll see. We'll see about that. If you're asking like a college shirt, maybe, potentially. Always playing around. If we do announce, or if we do have new apparel, yeah, we'll get that out to you. We'll announce that as well too. If we ever do fun stuff like new apparel. Yep. Let's see here. All right, what else I got that I can actually answer? I'll probably take maybe 3 to 5 more questions for the day. Call it a day. I can't talk about games that are currently in development or not announced yet, unfortunately. I would love to. There's plenty of them. Who don't I know it? Because I have to be the one to talk to every developer here, right? Yeah, I can't talk on that kind of stuff too. Yes, there are plenty of other games in development, including those with accessories and peripherals. Yes. Peripherals, accessories. Yes, peripherals and accessories. Great choice to add the tag games. Yeah, we're excited about the tag games. Yeah, kind of fun. We like doing that too when we get those games that are kind of off the cuff, like off the beaten path, right? Especially like Toki and Cabal. I know a lot of you know, but Heated Barrel, Blood Bros. Blood Bros is one of my favorite games on the system right now, I would say too. And you'll see Heated Barrel coming up in what, 3 weeks? 3 weeks? 2 weeks for Cabal, 3 weeks for Heated Barrel. Would I consider sales? Yeah, I also like everything for cheap as well too. However, it's not the way the world works, unfortunately, too. We are a business. Keep that in mind. And sales are a thing that we do have to talk to developers and stuff for. These are not our games. We license everything. Keep that in mind. So yes, that's up to developers too. And specifically, developers do ask us from time to time, hey, can we put our game on sale throughout the weeks? Those do actually happen. You might not notice them, but they do happen. We try to advertise them as they come and go, but it's just not typical all the time. Let me see here. Ooh, good question, Shoeshine. Would love Autofire to be added. I guess a comment more than anything, right? Would love Autofire to be added for Once Upon a Time on Halloween. Shooting bosses is painful. Let me see if I can take care of that for you soon. We'll find out. Stay tuned on that. I can't make any promises, but we can try. Yeah, I mean, accessibility options are there for a reason, right? So yeah, it's good to know, right? Sometimes I skip over them a little bit too, just because I forget, in all honesty. But yeah, we can look into that too. Autofire for Once Upon a Time for Halloween. Yeah, sure. Again, I can't make promises on that, but we'll find out. You see here, are all of the action games on sale? They will be. Yes, every single action game in that category will be on sale, yes, for 30% off. Ooh, Space Invaders leaderboards. Nothing to announce on that one quite yet. Stick around. I know you want them. Of course, I wanted them on day one, honestly. I get a little backtracked, right? So development on that game is not necessarily at the forefront of my mind because I have to do work on it, right? Coding myself, but we'll see. But yeah, I still want those leaderboards in there too. Don't you worry. Let's see here. Just sell a stool cover. I mean, I could, but I wouldn't want to do that. I'd rather just make a whole stool. Be more fun. Be nicer. You get better quality stools, right? If we do stools, I guarantee you it's going to be a swivel stool also like this. Just saying, if we ever do. It's going to be nice quality leather, fake leather. We'll see. All right. Any other questions? Take two more. Take two more and then we'll call it a day. Substantial questions. We had some good questions the other week, so I was excited actually. iiRcade formal wear? Maybe. See here. Ooh, what's the next gaming con? I don't know right now. So we are going to be at Unite 2022 with Unity. So Unity has invited us, Unity 3D has invited us to Unite 22 this year, which is great. We're excited for that, but that's not a fan expo. That is a developer and business expo, essentially is what that is too. However, you can catch that on their website, I believe. That's coming up on November 1st. So you'll have to check because it's November 1st all throughout the world. So we'll be in Copenhagen as well as Brighton, as well as Austin, Texas, Montreal, and San Francisco, California. Yeah. But yeah, so after that next year, I'm not quite sure yet what we'll be at first next year for expos. It's a little bit on the back burner at the moment. I don't know that we'll be doing CES this year or not. Maybe. I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no. We 100% will be at the Harman booth for Expo. Harman does their own show. That's Harman, which does our branding by JBL, right? That's Harman Kardon. So they shout out to them. They're awesome partner of ours. We will be having a machine at least at their booth. And really, it's not just a booth. They rent out an entire hotel. They have their own separate section with all their products and stuff too. So if you're down that way for CES this year, check out Harman. I got to check on the hotel that they actually host that themselves. However, I'm sure that you can also find it. They are still a part of the official CES. Just do their own thing as well. I will not be in attendance at that though this year. No, at least for their stuff currently. Yep. I'm a busy guy right now. All right. Any other questions I can answer here? Let's see. I can't talk about games I can't talk about. You see here. This is an interesting question. Person is asking, can I edit an over-the-top attract mode and send it to you for a possible track mode for the week. Maybe. Something we've never really dug into quite yet. Things that we've played with. Maybe. What you want to do maybe is send a contact to contact@iiRcade.com and we can go from there. It might be a no. Might be a maybe. Who knows? Let me see here. Okay. One more question. One more good question here. Classic shmups. Okay, what shmup do you want specifically is the real question here. Out of the like 60 or 70 that we have available, it's hard to find one we don't have. The only one really might be Raiden, I would say. No Raiden series games quite yet. Beyond that, I'm not quite sure what shmup you want because we got pretty much all of them. Not count that one as a question. What's the best strategy for Riptide? Yeah, you want to do tricks is what builds your boost. So if you press the Z button while you're in the air, that's your boost. Really, you just want to trick as much as possible, blow your boost, and keep tricking as much as possible. That's really how you continue on in that game, yeah, for Riptide. Riptide, of course. Riptide is still 8-player online, too. Have fun playing with each other on that one. All right. One more question about the game or system. See here, questions I can actually answer. Like how you guys are taking your time. Thank you, Biggie. Yeah, we try to with every game. We take our time, right? We try to make sure it's bug-free. On release, I don't try to release broken games. Yeah. I come from big AAA companies that do that a lot too for different reasons. So I try not to do that myself, right? But yes, my amazing QA team helps me out. Very much so with that, and they test these games to ad nauseum for you. As well as, of course, online play testing. They do all that stuff too. Online play testing, software testing too. Of course, we do software testing in-house. Am I coming to Austin? No, I'm not coming to Austin. I am going overseas. Okay, same question. Doesn't help me. One more question. Let's go. Good question to end on. Let me see here. Who's got a good question about the system or me or the games that we talked about? Action games, right? Let's see here. Oh, I can answer this question too. Is Operation Wolf going to be playable without light gun, like Blood Brothers? Yep. Yeah, we announced that day one with light guns. Keep that in mind. Every game that we've announced, or will be announcing, right, with light gun, should be compatible with joystick. Yes, that's what we said. We're not leaving you in the dust on a standard edition. It will be playable with joystick as well as potentially other things, right? Maybe a trackball potentially, right? We haven't confirmed that yet. However, we are looking into these things, of course, too, not just light gun, right? Because a lot of times a light gun-based game can work pretty well with trackball, right? Is it possible? Depends, right? Depends on the game. But yes, it does work 100% already. Operation Wolf works with the joystick. We actually showed off with the joystick in our demo, as well as with light guns. But of course, again, I would never make the claim that playing with a light gun is not the same experience as a joystick. I get it. I know. I'm never going to make that claim, so don't worry on that one. But yes, it will be available to play with joystick as well. Which again, it's extra work, right? That's why it takes a little bit of time to get these games out sometimes, because we have to do a little bit of extra stuff on the back end. And we're dealing with more than just one game going into the system. We're dealing with a lot of games at any given point. Oh, here's a good one. Mr. iiRcade is asking, how many online titles are there on the iiRcade? Currently, I believe there's 50 about. There's at least 46. Sounds about right. Ballpark 50 right now. Sounds about right. Yep. 50. And of course, all the TAD games, all 4 TAD games are online when they release, right? So when Cabal releases, as well as when Heated Barrel comes out too in the upcoming weeks, those are releasing with online as well. But yeah, so if you go to the store, iiRcade.store. By the way, that is the easiest way to get to the store is just iiRcade.store. Type that into a browser or on your phone. That's how you get there. It's just iiRcade.store. Super easy. It's the best way to get there. But yeah, you can always check the online category on the store. There is an online category now too, or you can search by online, or you can filter by online as well too. And it can show you all the games that are currently available on the iiRcade online. Right now, you do still have to go into the settings on the system, hit enable online games to actually enable them. Working on, of course, better methods just to get those online for you automatically out the gate the moment you download them. That was intended for day one. It's just not quite in right out the gate too. Complexities in the system. We got a lot of stuff going on with our software, right? However, yeah, there's improvements nonstop that we do. That's why we do updates. Please do keep your systems up to date. It's very important, by the way. But yeah, about 50 titles online right now too. Just under, I believe. I think we're about at 48 right now. Sounds right. So we're getting there. And that's only since, what, April? April this year, right? Question, where the heck is the mustache? Wait until November. Maybe I will grow it out again in November. We'll see. Maybe after I get back from the big conference with Unite, I will. Yeah, maybe I'll grow it out then. I'd rather not go to a big conference with a mustache. I don't know why, but yes. All right, I say 2 more questions, then you get more questions. This is how it always goes, right? All right, we'll keep going. We haven't hit the hour quite yet. Let me see here. Here's a good question too. Maybe we'll do this list one day. Top 10 80s arcade games on the iiRcade, or if any of the streamers and stuff in the space, YouTubers and stuff, if you guys want to take this over, go for it. I'd be happy to welcome those shows too. My personal top 10 80s arcade games, I don't know, but there's plenty. I'd have to go through the list again with hundreds of games, more coming out all the time too. It's hard for me to sort through everything all the time too, and remember all the dates and things like that too. I think I got a good handle on all the 80s games. Sometimes I think a game's an 80s game, and it turns out it's a 90s game, or vice versa. So I'm not great with dates. But yeah, maybe I'll do a list one day. That's a cool one. Thanks, Punk Rock Dave. You think about doing that on the show too. You see here, other things I can answer again too that we haven't already talked about. I've already talked about a lot of these questions, so I'm not going to talk about it again. Let's see some of the puzzle type games expanded. Yeah, there's not a lot of puzzle games for arcades, sadly enough. It's actually one of my favorite categories as well, too. You just find that they're kind of few and far between. They never really got enough love like the other things, of course. Shoot 'em ups and action games and beat 'em ups and fighters and stuff like that, too. They took off, but never really puzzle games as much. But yeah, of course, we're always looking into more and more games, too. But yeah, puzzle games, of course, I want some loves in the puzzle game category too. I know it's a little bit sparse compared to other categories. But yeah, there are some already lined up that just aren't released quite yet, but we can't talk about those. Let me see here. Interesting question, but I'm not going to take this question either right now too. Can I add games to the system? Can I add modern games? Here's a good way to phrase this question that somebody's asking in the chat. Can I add more modern games into the system that sort of, let me see here. They're sort of either like Android-based games or other things that should be able to port over. Yeah, it's up to the developer. It's not up to us. It's up to them. Typically, we don't do our own porting in-house. We do port some games in-house, but not every game, right? So it's only it's a rarity that we do that. And you'll know when we do it too, honestly, too. If the games are great, right? Like Dragon's Lair, of course, we did that. Dragon's Lair, the whole series, we did that. For Dragon's Lair 2 Space Ace. Space Invaders Infinity Gene. Let's see, Galacticon, things like that. Yeah, we've done that stuff in-house as well. But yeah, it's not typical that we do that kind of stuff. It just depends on the game, depends on the reasoning, depends on a lot of things. Time, cost evaluations, stuff like that. But can I just port games over? Not necessarily, right? It's not always just, it's not up to us. It's up to the developer to bring their game over as well, too. So yeah, that's really on them. Usually we contact developers day and night. So just so you know. A lot of times too, again, with developers, it's not always just they don't want to bring their game over. A lot of times they get excited. They just don't have the time currently. That's how it goes. Especially if you're talking about like an indie developer or a solo developer. Time is of the essence. If you're working on a new game, you don't necessarily want to port your other project over to other systems currently, right? That's how it goes. There's only so many hours in the day too. It might not be their full-time job. Bigger companies, same thing. They're working on new projects. They might not be interested in licensing or porting their games currently. It doesn't mean it's a no. It just means it's just not the right time. It's like the dating world, right? It just might not be the right time sometimes. It's just how it goes. Is that right? Is it 63 games online? Was I wrong? I thought it was 4. Wow. Okay. If that's right, 63 games online. I thought it was sub 50 still. I thought it was 48 or 50. I didn't realize it's 63. It's a lot. All right. Within the span, again, since April, right? So there's still more coming. I promise you that. And of course, online itself is still in an alpha stage. We are still working on online proactively currently, as well as other features for online. All right. Okay. It is 51. Okay. We're coming up on the hour now, too. I will definitely take one more question. That's probably it where we'll hard cut it off here. Any new announcement, you'll have to watch the replay. That's how it goes sometimes. Let me see here. Let me address this real quick here. You make it sound like a cell phone doesn't have more power than most of these arcade machines. Yeah, because most cell phones don't have more power than our machine specifically. However, some do. That's totally right, too. Depends on the chip. Just like some computers are actually less powerful than this as well, too. Some are more, right? That's how it goes. What I'm saying specifically for developers, for Android specifically, too, this is not an Android. This is an Android-based system. This is not a mobile phone. Android-based OS is different. We use that system because it's able for us to be open source. We're able to change it and manipulate it ourselves. That's why we use it, right? So something like Windows, we can't do because Windows is not an open source system that we're allowed to actively change and mitigate, right? Microsoft would have a hand in that. Same thing with Apple, right? If you try to take the Apple OS, right? However, Google allows us to use Android OS as we please pretty much too in certain ways. There's certain restrictions, of course, but generally speaking, yes, this is a heavily optimized system. We do our Android OS ourselves in-house. We do have engineers who do our entire operating system along with the firmware, right? So we hack and slash that thing apart, take the pieces that we need, put them back together, and build our own on top of that. That's how this works, right? So things like online play, the launcher that you see when you open a game, the way you open games, the way you do controls in the game. Yes, this is all done in-house ourselves. This is very different than what you would do with a plug-and-play system. They've done that on their own themselves too. This is not the same as taking a phone and putting it in here. If that's what you mean by that, not even close. The games that run on our system are optimized to run on the system, right? So that varies wildly. And developers, what we're talking about there was just developers for the platform. Depends on their time and what they want to do with their game. So it's up to them. Get asked that question all the time, so there you go. Okay, what else we got here? I'll take one more question still, one more actual question. Okay, can't talk about games that we can't talk about always. How hard is Dead Effect to master? Dead Effect 2 is... it's not that hard to master, I wouldn't say too. It takes about a half an hour to really get used to the control scheme and stuff with the 12 buttons and the dual sticks. So there you go. What am I dressing up for? Is Halloween? Probably nothing because I'm traveling during Halloween for work. So probably nothing. And I'll be in a different country. So there you go. Okay. One more question. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, Mr. Jerry's challenging me back to the Congo Bongo scoreboards. We'll see if I have time this weekend. I know I thought I was going to do it last weekend. I didn't get the time. Or 2 weeks ago. Congo Bongo, I will be back on those leaderboards, however, too. All right, if that's it. If there's no other deep pressing questions, we will move on with it and be done for the day. All right. That's it. Cool. All right. We'll leave it at that. It's a good day. It's a long day, actually, too. It's a lot longer than I thought. I thought we'd only go for half an hour, but yeah. So to recap, Once Upon a Time on a Halloween is available right now in the store for $7.99 2-day. It does have global leaderboards. And yes, you can use both joysticks. So remember, keep that in mind, too. Switch between the buttons and joysticks at your leisure. You can play with just the buttons as well, too. No worries on that one, too. However, yeah, super fun game. Just in time for Halloween. Spooky game. Excited to have that brought to you by InCity today, which is great. Along with that, of course, we've got the holiday game sales getting kicked off in just a few minutes here for the action category on the store. So keep in mind, tons and tons of action games to choose from. Week 1 will be action games. So anything, if you go to the store right now and look in the action category, those are the games that are going to be on sale. They are going to, every single one of them will be on sale for 30% off, which is great. So yeah, the games that are on sale will be for 30% off in the category this week. So it's great. Otherwise, that's it. That's all I got for you today too. Have a great weekend, everybody too. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more tips, tricks, and features coming soon, right? So maybe reformatting the show a little bit. We'll have some fun. Other things coming up for the holidays, of course. Q4 is here. Q4 is coming up. We're in Q4 now, which is great too. November and December still left. So plenty more things to come. Plenty of features that are announced that are being worked on too. Plenty more things to come and released before the end of the year as well too, as far as games go, right? So stick around next week. I will not be here next week, potentially too. We'll see if there's a live show or not next week or recording. We'll find out. I can't promise you that yet. But until then, if I don't see you next week, have a safe and happy Halloween too. Enjoy it. Hope you're dressing up too. Feel free to post those fun costumes with your arcade machines, of course, in the community groups. Have a good time together. And of course, I'll see you on the leaderboards and probably Once Upon a Time in Halloween, honestly, too. I will be playing that game a little bit. So if you see a light on the leaderboards, that's me. I will take you on. So until next week, thanks so much for tuning in. And I will see you all potentially then or 2 weeks from now, right? Or 3 weeks. Who knows? Probably 2 weeks I'm going to go with. All right. Let's play you out with Once Upon a Time on a Halloween. All right. Take care.